I would love to build a relationship with a NIM or something. How'd you guys feel about festival night?
Great Saturday, not so, no, Friday,
Okay.
not so good on Saturday.
Okay.
went
More
okay.
attended Friday than Saturday.
Yeah.
Had a lot of other things going on Saturday too.
I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
But we charged less money for the playgrounds. Because we're trying to do it as a service. And we just losing some money on it.
But it's not on the agenda right now. I'll be putting it on.
But we're still trying to do it as a service.
You ready? Yeah. I need one more thing, so I think.
We still broke even.
I would assume the musicians have a decent cost.
Oh, yeah. Close to 2,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, these guys,
Cutlass.
they're playing for a living.
Mary, did you have a chance to look at the email I shot back earlier? Just, I put the resolution, I just need you to look and make sure it was okay. I got this just in case. So you can talk about it. I'll be ready now.
Very sure.
We're on. You got anything on?
Email.
Yeah, everything's on.
Right now, we vacation.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:33. Please stand for the pledge, flag, and short devotion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we ask that you guide our decisions tonight to best benefit the residents of Osnaburg Township. We ask that you be with the family of the fire from over the weekend and anybody else that's involved. And we ask that you keep our employees and fire department safe as they go out upon their duties. Amen.
Amen.
Any changes to the agenda?
We have a Staley Technologies estimate for road.
I have nothing.
And that's all I have.
I'll have some things, under new township business.
Okay.
That will move to the meeting minutes for Monday, 6/10/2024.
Trustee Varian would like to make an amendment to the minutes. I don't have a number, but first page bottom, we're discussing the pump for the grass truck for 2.9. We did not make an amendment, but the pump estimated cost is $5,100. In the minutes, it's listed as $6,100. So if we could make that change.
Trustee Griffith will approve the minutes with the changes.
Trustee Varian, second.
You want a roll call on that?
No, that's okay, because that's my mistake.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. With that, trustee Peter will move to accept the matter presented with the change.
I'll make the note on it.
I think it was Griffith did that.
So that'll change it. Okay.
You can change that much.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it on here so it'll already be changed on when you sign it.
Thanks for catching that, Amy.
Next we'll move to the treasurer's report.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks.
All right, before we do public speaks, I think we need a executive session at the end with no action to be taken tonight.
Okay.
Executive at 10.
Next, we'll move to public speaks, and we have Justin Beadling.
Well, mostly probably still remember me. I want to start off by saying thank you for all the help so far with everything that you guys have been able to do. It is appreciated. I don't think I've ever come in and thanked anybody for that yet. So I wanted to start off with that. Secondly, I was wondering if I could put in a little request to remove one of the no parking signs. From my understanding is where it was placed originally was because of all the vehicles that were there. That was your only option to place it. Now that it's this time of the year, I didn't realize the issue. When I come down there to try to pull my camper into my yard, that kept me the last sign. So I didn't know how we had to go about that, if we could just move it forward a little bit back to where I think we originally wanted to put it, but we couldn't because he was parked way off of his property and way off to the side. I don't know if that's something that we can do or how that works. So I wanted to ask you guys.
You have property on that side, right, correct?
I do not have property on the other side of the road, no. I got some pictures to show you in reference. So right now, the way the signs are placed with the no outlet sign, the no parking sign, and then the last no parking sign is where that one was placed due to where it had to be placed with all his stuff there. When I put my camper in and I go to turn, the front end of my truck is right there, right on the edge of the road where it's at, compared to where, there's a telephone pole. So
Right.
I'm kind of limited there with that nature.
Okay.
And I don't want it removed. I want it still
Right.
in place. But I was just wondering if we could move that up. And it actually may even pimp the farmer right there, but after he pulls his crops down and he comes around and brush hogs. Because it's more towards his corner of the property now.
How close is the sign to the end of the fence currently?
15 feet, so.
Okay.
So
So it's
even
once the
back, yeah.
fence ends, the sign is further
Yes.
back from, okay.
And I don't know if it matters, but he's found a new entrance to his property off of that road too, kind of behind the fence, which is not even his property either.
I would say it's hard to go out and move a sign because of that issue, but I would also say that if the plan was to put it where you want to put it, we couldn't because there was something there. In my mind, that's just cause, right? If we wanted it here, we had to put it here because something was in the way. We could go back out and move it where we wanted to. But to just move a sign because we can't swing a camper, we have to also look at taxpayers' dollars. So what do you guys think? I mean, like if
Did we put the signs in?
We put the signs
The
in.
county didn't tell us where to put them.
we
Randy
put
was
it-
there with us when we put them in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember we had to go behind the car because the
There was a
car
car
was
there.
sitting out over the property pins
Yeah.
in the way of right where the post went. Remember that? We had to
Yeah.
go right behind the car.
The only thing that concerns me is if we were 2 feet off the road. We're not on the road.
No. You're off the road in the grass aspect that's growing in, but there is a property kind of exposed there that was never exposed before because all the stuff was parked on that.
Okay.
My concern is you said that's not your property, so if you're going off far enough to where the road sign is that gonna be an issue with who owns that property?
Well, right now, technically, you're on Osnaburg's easement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
And I would ask,
the
too-
Easement is a roadway
Yeah.
to turn into my property. I'm still not touching anybody's property other than the public road. I'm not going into anybody's property. It's just so far off the outside of your easement that it's. where
So
it's at, it just
So
pushes.
if you're looking down the fence,
Mhm.
you're not interested in moving it right or left. You're
No.
bringing it same.
Forward. Just
forward.
a little bit.
Okay, I got it.
Which is still.
Got it.
Which is still not to allow anybody to still park behind there because that's all farm field there.
Yeah.
So.
So,
if
and
it just
remind
came
me-
Forward, and then I would be past that when the nose of my truck would turn in and I can get my camper back in behind behind my house. Right now, it's hard to even get my camper off of your guys' easement.
Remind me too, did Nimishillen build the fence? Or
Michelle made him put the fence.
But the fence the fence is on your neighbor's property,
Yes, fully on his property.
Okay.
By like
but whatever the setback
2-3
is.
feet.
So the other side of the fence, does he mow it?
Do you want to see pictures?
No, I've driven by. I know. the answer.
No, he decided.
I'm just asking because I'm curious, because I've driven by and it's been tall, but I don't want to go on one drive. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to
No, he decided now that he's not going to mow
on the other side of the fence.
on the, well, he mows one strip
Okay,
on the other side of the fence.
okay.
But he used to maintain all that, and then he doesn't. But I do have some pictures.
So does that mean we, all the high grass from our road, edge of the road, clear up to where he does the one path is ours?
Yeah, you mean along the edge of the road?
Yeah.
Yep.
Along the,
You're
along
talking a wide
the edge
swath
of
there.
17th Street.
How wide?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, it wouldn't.
That's what I'm asking.
It's not any different than any other road.
We have to go in there and mow it. I'd only
So
be
this
mowing
is the
way
first
over.
no parking sign, and I tried to stand.
Get in trouble.
You can see past it, and then here's the next one. You see how it
Oh, yeah, I got you.
kind of bumps over,
Okay.
and then I try to put my, just where I
Gotcha.
ended up,
Yeah.
it is.
I'll say it again. If you guys wanted to put it there, you couldn't. And we had to put it someplace because there's a car. I think we should go out and move it.
The car was over top of the property pin. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, if you
And
really.
that's where we had to go behind the car to get in line, stay in line.
So
with where
follow
our
up.
property
So
line,
follow-up
our
question.
road
What's
right
it
away
gonna take to
was.
move it?
This is my follow. What's it gonna take to move it, Stu? Pull it out, pound it back in?
You know, we had to just
All right.
take the sign apart, pull it up out. and-
So my follow-up
Stuff it
question is, once we
back in.
move it, is the neighbor gonna beat our door down because he can't make the turn in now?
I mean, it's not even his access nor his property. It's not
So,
his driveway. Nimishillen blocked him off. Now he's going
Okay.
outside of his property to come back in.
you mean he's going down the driveway, past
He's
the
going down
fence,
17th Street.
onto the farmer's property,
Yep.
and in behind the fence?
All day long. Now, and that's, I mean, it's a public road. It's a public road. Technically, he doesn't have access to that because it's not a driveway in my mind, but you guys don't have a lot of zoning regulations on driveways off of your roadways. So,
Yeah, but it's not, it's only a public road so far, and then it's,
and he's past the public road.
Yeah,
where
we
you guys
passed
need
the
to-
sign. It's 300.
360 feet.
60 feet.
We already talked about putting in like an end of the road
yeah.
barrier. Didn't we already talk about
We
that?
can't,
But then
did,
we
but
can't
you can't.
because they turn around back there when they plow.
Your
snow.
plow, I allow your plow truck
Yeah,
driver
yeah,
to turn
yeah,
around my
yeah.
property. so
Okay,
don't-
okay.
Yeah, we go down past there and turn around on his property in order to get back out of there.
Okay.
But there's a certain point, you only use so much.
What do you mean?
Does it turn to woods then?
Yeah, eventually
Field.
it does.
There's a farm
You're-
drive that goes, just
Yeah.
keeps going.
Yeah.
You could. keep-
That road, that right of way goes way down through there.
Right, that's what I'm
It
saying.
goes on-
Remember we talked about this
Yeah, it
before,
go on
when we
the-
were looking
yeah.
at it on
Goes
the,
to the next
It's a
road.
paper road.
Right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't exist, but it's on paper.
yes.
Okay. I'm for moving it. If when you guys were there originally, you couldn't put it where you wanted to.
If you, I can do some digging, and I'm sure I have a picture of the sign with the vehicles there, if you want documentation.
But I think
No,
it's
I was
hard.
there. It was-
Oh, we was there, I remember it. We had to go behind the car because we couldn't put it right where the car was, and that's where we kind of wanted to put it when we
Yeah,
we wanted to see the property pin. His car was sitting right over top.
got it.
How much
Right.
time, Stu, to move it?
Huh?
How much time to move it?
half
We
an
just
hour.
gotta go in there and
No, I'm saying. how
pull it
much
up out of
time?
the ground and take the bolts out and go over and move up a little bit and stomp it back in, bolt it back up.
Half hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
That's
I'm
fine.
fine with it.
He put it in really good, he might.
He may, how well did you?
No, it ain't coming out by hand.
No. it's
It only has 10
pretty
bags of concrete at the bottom of it. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm fine with it.
We need a motion to move it.
I don't think we do.
Okay,
Stu put it in, it wasn't in the right place, but it where it's supposed to be.
okay, sounds
I
good.
can put in the minutes that this is what you discussed and that's what you were gonna do because.
It'd be nice to see where that pin is though,
Yeah,
too.
it's exposed.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You can
Okay.
I wanna make sure I don't go behind that.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know where the pin is, that's right, because that's gonna cause whole.
Cause isn't the
conversation.
pin his property line at our road right away?
I thought the pin was like 4 or 5 feet off the road, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
4 or
yeah.
5 feet
Yeah,
north.
yeah.
So there's some. Okay. Right there's the property.
Oh, yeah. Our sign's way inside that.
So, and you had to do what you had to do to get
I know.
a place to make.
You got two
stuff.
vehicles there, remember?
Right.
But it's, you can see, it.
Well, when you put the signs in, the fence wasn't there.
no, look at all.
Fence wasn't
Yeah,
there?
right, because it
But the
looks
cars
very
were
different
there.
now,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
They didn't do any surveying when they did the fence.
Mm.
And I do have, I kind
And
of,
how far do we wanna go forward?
that's up to you. That's,
Length of the car, 15 feet.
10, 15?
that would be.
Would that make, would that,
I would be
would
past
that solve the, putting it back where we wanted to and the camper problem? Would that solve both problems?
Yeah, that would help me.
Okay.
I mean, I just need,
We don't want to move it
Just-
10 feet, you still can't swing the camper.
Yeah, no,
That's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah,
yeah, if you went 10 feet, that would be more than enough. It would be, I would
Okay.
have zero problems with that.
cool.
And I can get it in there and get it farther off of your guys' easement as well.
Sounds good.
It'll be done.
Thank you.
Anything
Thanks.
else?
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Not right now.
Oh, well, real quick follow-up question. Is there any more light conversation? The lights back and forth?
No, he,
No? Okay,
His removed,
okay,
and I haven't heard anything. I mean.
okay.
I sent you a letter just saying, just the Trustee,
I
and good,
When did you send it?
last week, I believe.
I have not received that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, if you could just like turn it down a little
I
bit
took it
or
on
something,
Sure.
no issues otherwise.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Took it on some-
Super. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your patience through all this.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Rick, please, yeah.
You need me up there?
If you don't mind, sorry. We get to record you when you're in the mic.
There's concern in our neighborhood with what happened here over the weekend when this had this fire. Here's how, well, right around 30. Now, in the last 3 years, we had come up to you about a fire before. When we had them down, and that's when Rick was in charge of it. When they showed up with 2 or 3 people, tried to get this fire put out. The concern is now, you had a house, we sit there and we watch this thing burn down, and you got 6 different fire departments show up. Then what was going on with Osnaburg? Because I came down there 3 days later, it was on fire again. 1 man showed up in a fire truck.
Yeah,
Number one, there's an issue, and it's not just Osnaburg, there's a staff issue very wide. It's not just us, there's not enough people.
Well,
And
just,
we're trying to figure that out.
I'm not a firefighter, but just as a point of reference, there are no fire hydrants out where this fire was. So immediately you're gonna get mutual aid, because you're gonna have tankers.
You got a fire thing just right up the road.
Fire hydrant?
Fire hydrant.
of RVs, yeah.
Were they using it?
Nope.
To fill tankers, yes. That, we don't have enough hose to use that to supply our trucks.
Right. So
That's
if
what
you're,
we're filling our tanker trucks.
if you're outside of, you're gonna get mutual aid regardless, because you're gonna have to run tankers. And most structure fires in small communities are gonna have multiple agencies.
Correct.
It's very rare for one small group. I mean, we do mutual aid all the time to other communities in a structure fire. It's pretty common to have that many people.
6 departments.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we
Absolutely.
go to all the surrounding departments for that.
Especially on a situation like that, when you got houses that close, that's a high risk situation with houses that close to it.
I can remember when Rick was there, he says, you never send 1 person down. You always go in 2s or 3s.
So two,
When Rick came down to the fire we had down there, actually there was 2 fires at the same spot. The barn burned down and he had a fire pit that caught on fire. And there was 3 or 4 people there at the time for the barn, and there was 3 people there for the pit. And now this thing catches on fire again, you have 1 person.
Correct. So 2 people were working the night of the fire. That is our typical. We staff our station with 2 people. That first truck has 1,000 gallons of water. When our truck pulled up, there was already a garage, 2 vehicles in the back of the house that was on fire when we got on scene. So the first thing that we do even before we get there is mutual aid comes. So tanker trucks are bringing water, multiple other engines and personnel are coming to come help us. That's how we fight fires, both here and in the surrounding communities. The other times that we went out, partially it's because what was burning. So the fire load there was very heavy based on some of the things that were in that back area. We brought an excavator in to pull stuff out, to put that out as best we could. We actually had talked to the homeowner and said, stuff is still smoldering. We put thousands and thousands of gallons of water on it. And so we knew that was a possibility of going back out to put that out. The time that was Saturday when we had 1 individual, we had been out there multiple times before that. I had 1 person working. He knew that if he needed help, we had multiple other departments available to come in and help. So he did come out there by himself. He was the only person working. Yep. That is the case more often than I would like. We have 1 person available.
I mean, I see Parish Township and Robertsville, they have volunteers.
They don't.
They do
That's
not
not
anymore.
Nope. But
They haven't had
Robertsville no
it for
longer
10
has a
years.
fire department in
There
years.
is no fire.
There's
11
a
years.
Sandy Valley Joint Fire District now. They haven't
come out
had
of
a fire
Minerva.
for 10 years.
And they're actually full-time.
I remember when it was, because.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was the
yeah.
chief there.
Yeah, I'm not,
Yep.
they did, but they haven't for a while.
Yeah, it's been about 12 years since they've had a department. So in Robertsville, they don't even have one. They're coming out of Minerva.
No, like I said, no, you got the whole area worried to see that whole house burn down that quick.
Yep, I would love to have enough people to send 3, 4, 8. I don't have personnel enough to staff my station. It's been a concern we've talked about probably the last 6, 8 meetings. We don't have enough people. The surrounding departments don't. You know, one of the other departments sent their truck with 1 person because that's what they had. It's not just us. I hear the concern. I would love to have the people. I would love to have the trained people. If you know them, send them to me.
Well, how can they have it 3 years when Rick's there and they don't have it now?
Well, there's 2 things. 1, COVID changed a lot of the staffing. And we had the same problem then that we do now. We did.
It seems everybody showed up on those when it was called. And this one here, they didn't. And like I said, the whole neighborhood's worried about it.
I hear your concern. I would love to have the personnel. I would love to.
Part of the problem is we're part-time. We don't give them benefits. And so the firefighters that are here are working full-time somewhere else to get the healthcare benefits.
Mhm.
And we're getting them part-time. So when they get called to their full-time job, we're a second choice.
We cannot give them that. It's not that we don't give them, we can't give, we don't have the funding.
Yep. I would love to be able to send more people. I simply don't have them, and we don't have the funding to pay for more people. We don't have the funding to be full-time. And that's an unhydranted area. Part of the problem is water supply.
So just for clarity too, Amy, if, as we're talking about this, because it's a concern we've
Sure.
brought to the table before. Let's say there were 6 people in the department.
Mm-hmm.
What would have changed? The engine and the tank would have gone. That's about it, because we don't have 2
Yep.
fire trucks. We have 1 fire
No,
truck.
so
1
if
tank.
we had 6 people at the station, we would have rolled the engine with 4 and the tanker with 2.
Okay.
And based on the fire load and how far that fire had already progressed when we got on scene, I don't know that much would have changed.
Okay. The grass truck wouldn't have rolled.
No.
Because it's not that type
Nope.
of fire.
Correct.
So the engine carries how much water?
1,000,
And the tanker carries how much water?
3,000.
3,000.
Yep.
Okay. And how many departments put this one out? 6?
I'd have to look to be sure, but it was probably close to 6, yeah. So some of them brought tankers, some of them had other engines there. We had an engine around the backside. We had
And then-
multiple tankers running the tanker shuttle. to
And then
bring
all the
water.
callbacks were hotspots, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your radio?
Nope.
Nope. It must be this thing.
who makes the call on dispatch to how many, is it they tone out and then whoever responds?
Yeah, so we have box alarms set, so when that came in as a garage fire, already our first box is struck, which means after we get toned, all those other mutual aid departments that we have set up to come on a structure fire get toned as well. It's how most of the departments are set up, so that when they are called out, the other surrounding departments that they need are toned out as well. There's other departments around us that are staffing with 2 or 3 people as well. So they would do a similar thing to we did, and that would be called a neighboring departments. We take our tanker all over the county.
What I was trying to get to was, it's a standard procedure. Nobody's gonna call and say, don't come to the fire, because if it gets out of control, you're better to have more there than not enough.
Yep.
That's just a standard procedure. Everybody comes to help.
It could be that sometimes not as many show, but they could be out on other calls, the other departments. You get who's available.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up getting a ladder truck from Plain because other surrounding departments didn't have the personnel to send us a ladder truck either. So
Did you ever have a ladder truck?
they do, but they send us a tanker. Yeah.
Those folks got ladder truck too.
They do,
Yeah,
and
they
they
do.
didn't have enough people to send it because they had already sent us to an engine.
So, and Amy, just for clarity's sake too, because I know this was some old stuff. You can't carry someone in an ambulance without 2 people, a driver and someone in the back.
True.
Can a firefighter drive a fire truck on site as 1 person, or do they have to run 2? They're allowed to, but they don't have much help.
Yeah, and they shouldn't go in, so 2 in, 2 out is our rule. So we knew, I was in contact with that firefighter. We knew he was gonna go inspect to see if it was still smoldering from the fire.
Okay.
And that if he needed more, that we would send more.
Okay.
And again, I had 1 person working. I had 3 people call off this weekend. 3 separate shifts called off.
The other issue we're having is so somebody that has a full-time job, they can, I don't know if that's cut all over the place. We call it an A-B job. We're a B job, they're an A job if it's full-time. So if they're on their A job and they're scheduled to come to our B job, but the A job doesn't have anybody and they make mandatory overtime,
They
we
have to
get
stay at
bumped.
their other job.
And
Yep.
what are we to do? You
I
know,
understand.
there's not people to call unless you can get somebody else that's on staff to pick it up. But if they're already working, then that's out. So it's an issue we've been discussing. We're trying to figure out a solution.
So one of the other things that we've talked about, and we're in conversations, fire districts can be expensive. You know, we've looked at that. One of the things that Chief Parker and I have talked about is possibly working with a kind of like a primary mutual aid. So rather than it toning out to everybody, it would possibly go to Nimishillen Township, for instance. They have full-time people. We'd have to build a relationship because the Nimishillen trustees are gonna have the same conversation, right? They're not gonna let their people leaving their community. But if we could link up with a department that's got full-time people and we could put together a partnership, we might be able to get some quicker response time. But still, if I live on this side of the township, if I've got something burning, I'm waiting for NIM. I'm waiting longer than if Sandy would come, you know, but there's, you know, so that's something we've talked about. And right now, the way the mutual aid works, it's pretty impressive the way that firefighters and EMS help each other. I've learned the last couple of years how this has worked because I'm pretty new to this. But if we could have somebody that was a primary mutual aid, they still, on a fire like this, they still have to drive from Louisville. And I don't know, looking at the situation we had with this fire most recently, if we had a relationship with them, could they have gotten here quicker?
No, it would work the same. They got toned out the same.
Work the same.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're struggling with. It's like, how do we make it the best it can be in our community for the budget we have and for the personnel and staff we have?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's hard. It's
But
hard.
The whole issue is
It's hard to
there's
stand
not
there and watch
enough
your neighbor's
staff.
house burn. It's
There's
awful.
not enough staff. There's just
It's
not enough.
awful. Yeah.
Even if you have a fire district, you still have the same staff. You're not gaining people, so you're just driving farther.
But we absolutely appreciate your concern because it's definitely on our forefront as well.
Okay.
So,
I'll let everybody know in the neighborhood.
thank you. Thanks for being the spokesperson.
Renee, do you have anything with Renee? Do you want to speak?
I was just wanting to know what the update was on Eslich.
I drove by there today.
Yeah, well,
It ain't moving fast enough.
no,
What
the other It was a few weeks back, his grass was this high.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's rearranged the cars to make them look nice and neat, but it's still,
It's still.
Yeah, I drove by today to see if they had done anything, and it's nothing,
because I called
nothing's changing.
the environment and they told me to contact you. and see.
Where are we
But
on,
you sent a letter to
where are
Essex,
we on
correct?
letters?
Mhm. I've sent regular letters and certified letter to Eslich's building, which they send over to their renter. Health department has talked to Eslich about it. I can contact them and I can get Eslich's number, because last time I called their building number, I never got a call back. And I can get whoever they're talking to.
Who did you talk to at the health department?
Uh,
I talked to Tara over there and there's a guy, I forget his name.
yeah, it was a gentleman, the one that was here at the meeting the other week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You can maybe give him a call back and say that something has to be
Did
done.
they ever give him dates that he had to have that done? The
I
last meeting, they were supposed to send him letters and give him a date. What was the date?
I gave him until, I gotta double check the letter, but I believe it was until the end of May.
The problem is she has to send it regular mail, then she has to send it certified mail. It just takes so long for the process. The process is still moving, it just is very slow. So what's the next step? You sent the certified and then it goes to what?
Then I would have to send another certified and we can mark it
That's when we can post a sign?
after the next one.
Alright, so it's still moving, it just takes a long time. I know that's not what you wanna hear, but
Mm-mm.
Do we,
No, because this has been going on since last year. It's well overdue.
when can we send someone in to mow grass? How many-
she's gotta
They
send.
mowed it.
Yeah, it's
They
been
did mow
mowed.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
so that part of that was handled. He's
And he's just
He's
bringing
pushing
more in.
he's
and
pushing stuff
hiding.
around.
In the back where the grass is taller,
yeah.
they're putting vehicles back there till the grass is growing above the vehicles.
I think we
He
keep
did knock
pushing.
the garage down,
Oh, the garage is gone?
partially.
Well, the roof's gone, the walls are still there.
Yeah.
It looks bad, the garage looks bad. I would send the next letter and keep it moving.
Keep pushing. Thank you.
Alright.
Thanks, guys.
Fire.
Okay. I have an update on 255. It went over to CMB and we got the quote on fixing the window and the mirror. That was sent to Tarma. I have been in touch with the agent who was assigned to that. This is the quote from CMB. It is for $1,723 to fix both. Our deductible is $250. I did send that to Fiscal Officer Lowry, and he said, so they're ordering the mirror. Once the mirror is in, they'll replace it. Otarma will send the check to CMB. So that is all moving. I don't know if you want that from CMB.
255 is still out of service because it's missing a window, right?
The township will still have to cover the 250 deductible. That check for $1,473.22, I think what it is, the net claim is $1,473.22. They'll have a check for the
Minus the
the
deductible.
250 minus
Yeah.
250, but we'll still owe that to CMB.
Motion to pay that $250.
That's a hell of a mirror. The window's cheaper.
The window is cheaper.
$1,000 for the.
Yeah, I
Wow.
with all the pieces and parts, the most expensive
$1,000
part was the
mirror.
mirror. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Mirrors for our big truck, dump trucks, they're over 1,000.
I know.
Trustee Varian moves to
Heated ones.
pay $250, which is the deductible, to repair the mirror and the glass on the driver door for number 255, ambulance 255. The total quote is $1,723.22.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Randy, did you happen to call AEP about that poll?
I'm still working on it. You gotta call 800 numbers. I'm trying to get through with a more local guy, and, cause if some
Because they're
issues
down there
going,
setting poles right now. They have extra ones laying back up in Fairhill where they're
they're
putting it.
down there every day.
No, they've been down there. They just come and go. And I think it's a subcontractor that they're sending around.
Maybe I'll try and what are they, they're just working during day hours, right?
Mhm.
I might run through there a couple times if I can catch some on one of them. and ask
Yeah,
them.
so they're trading out a bunch of poles the whole way through there. That's not one that's marked a
Do
trade.
you want this back or?
Nope, I have it in my email.
Oh, all right.
The other thing that I had, and this was just a question, and it's honestly, I don't know the answer. So we had talked at the last meeting that the AC was not working in the meeting room. We called Zorn. Zorn came out. The invoice that I got from them was for a thermostat for $150, and the paperwork says found bad thermostat, replaced part. We replaced that thermostat in February for $30 from me. So I'm really curious what happened.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if that was the only thing wrong. I'm struggling to figure out why it cost us $300 if all they did was replace the thermostat. So I have zero HVAC knowledge.
Is
I-
it,
It just
I-
seemed
thermostat-
odd to me.
I
like,
talked
is it a
to-
digital,
Just replace
is it different? Is it a digital thermostat?
Hmm.
Just a round, like a Honeywell?
No, it's a digital
It's a
one,
digital
which
one?
is what we had, that was what we had replaced
Okay.
before. You said you talked to them, Randy?
Yeah, he said the thermostat was shorted out, but I'm sure you're a stop call labor and the
Yeah,
thermostat
so for
was-
sure, but I was just curious, so is the thermostat $120 different from what we had purchased?
It's probably more of a, it's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell
What's
you,
the
whenever I
total on
worked
that?
in, it's like going to Walmart to buy a tool and
Okay.
going to Snap-on.
Okay,
What's the total on that one?
$298. Start $295, $298, I don't know, the handwriting's not great.
All right. So as a follow-up to this, and thank you, Randy, for keeping me on it, because I forgot to call Zorn, and Randy was like, hey.
Yeah.
So
this
thanks for
weekend,
remembering.
I was out of town and they called me
I
one day,
forgot.
they're like, it's 80 degrees in the meeting
Yeah.
room. And I was
We
like,
got to it a couple days later, but I forgot. So thanks for keeping me on it. So once Zorn made the trip and fixed the unit, he talked to Randy and said that all the units are original, and we need to be thinking about replacing them because they're
He said
they're getting up there in
You
age.
should, he said you should be thinking before you have where you gotta do them all at once. He said you probably should be looking at some point in the future starting to replace. But they're 24 years old.
the original of the building,
Yeah.
98.
How many are there?
26 years old.
26, 2.
Two.
Probably 2 air handlers and 2 compressors.
And there's two, I think there's 2 units.
Yeah.
Like one's for each part of the building.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual control. You're talking
Oh, no,
about
I'm
the
talking
whole
about the
unit.
thing.
Systems.
The system's 26 years old. You wouldn't need to do ductwork. You would just need to replace
No.
the air handler and the egg coil and the condenser, but they're expensive. You might have 20 grand in those units.
We've done very well to get 26 years.
Oh my
old,
gosh.
2 air conditioners.
Yeah. So we probably need to be talking about that. But for now, I'd like to make a motion to pay Zorn Heating and Cooling $298 to repair the AC in the fire station.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right.
33 calls, a whole bunch of mutual aid. 2 reasons. One, I was gone for a week, so I wasn't here. But 2, so I had talked to Trustee Barry and like I've been helping to get that squad moving. So if I have one person working, I am leaving my house and going and making sure that squad gets out. And I'll be honest, I cannot keep up what I'm doing. We need to figure something else out. So staffing wise, I mean, he's not wrong. Like we have a staffing problem. I don't know that anything would have changed even if our staffing was consistent. We still would have 2 people in a truck roll up. I mean, that's how it works. That's what mutual aid is for.
That's probably what my executive session's for, so I was
Oh.
gonna invite you in.
Staffing. Okay, staffing. Okay.
It's
So-
nothing specific.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we had a couple of fires. We had a basement fire while I was gone. We had a car fire the night of the festival. So when we've had a couple fires, obviously the one we had this weekend was a big one. That's actually the first structure fire we've had since I've been chief, so 2.5 years.
So remember back where we had to send so many I forget what's in that.
Mm-hmm. So we had 3 from our department, so we're okay.
Okay.
We had 1 come in.
Is that ISO rating?
Yep, it's ISO, it's for our ISO rating, we have to have 3 from our department. We had, 2 of us working, and then we had 1 more person come in and bring another truck.
Okay.
So we had our 3.
Were you on the fire or you
I
were,
wasn't working, I was there.
you were on the fire too?
Yeah. 2 of us were the first 2 there.
Good.
We managed to have not just other mutual aid departments, but a couple other mutual aid chiefs come in, which was fantastic. So for a big, huge scene like that, it was able to have somebody on the backside in charge, some of the front side. We actually brought in an excavator. You're welcome, I didn't call you. Because of everything stored under the porch, there was just so much fire load in that house that we dumped thousands and thousands and thousands.
Did they ask
gallons.
you to go in the house?
They did ask.
What's the rule? When someone asks me, what's the
Yeah.
rule on that? Unless it's a living person, you
Yeah.
can't go,
So,
right?
so it depends. I mean, if it's confined to a certain spot, and we certainly would attempt to get animals and stuff out. There was no floor, so the things they were asking us to get out just weren't simply reasonable at that point in time, and I let them know that.
What she just said there, I've never thought about that.
Was that
If you called us about something like that.
an excavator?
Yeah.
So
Are
we
we
did.
covered to go do that? Are we insured and
So-
covered and allowed to go do that?
Yeah.
We-
I'm just making sure.
We
I've never
honestly
heard that.
needed something bigger, I think, than what you had. But because of all the stuff they had stored under their back deck, we needed to pull it all out and wet it down because we just could not
It
put
was
the
just,
fire out.
yeah.
I'll be honest, the other chiefs that were there, the one chief from Canton Township was like, man, we just keep chasing it. Like, they had already moved into the house itself before we were even there.
You were there to save the other houses around it.
Yep, so we did. They're gonna need some new siding.
Yep, you saved the houses.
But
Those houses are close too.
the one on the one side is fairly close, yeah. So, at one point we had a ladder truck up drowning our structure and hose lines just keeping the house next to it cool.
So what was the cause of the fire?
So the fire marshal was out today, so the state fire marshal comes out and stuff like that, to do an investigation. It will likely be undetermined. It started in the garage, but there was so much damage and the fact that we pulled the excavator there.
I
So
don't think you're gonna have too many cases where you're gonna call our because of rubber tracks and stuff.
No, and we ended up,
You're gonna-
we ended up calling Andy, and that'll just get billed to the insurance.
Right, but I mean, he's got.
Oh, Andy literally hauled a unit in and pushed it over for you.
Yeah,
Wow.
yep, I
That's
called
what
him.
I was gonna ask, is Andy get compensated to the
Yeah.
homeowners?
So his hours will get billed, they had homeowners insurance, so his hours will get billed to them, yeah, and I'll help him. make sure he can submit those hours.
I was snooping around, as I do, and I ran into someone at the end of John's, that's the sister of the Fields, who lives in the house next door, Brooke. I forget the guy's name.
That was his first sale? That
Not
was
the other
The
one.
white one,
The white one.
okay.
Brooke and her husband. Anyway, she's a relative, but lives at the end. She said they left to get ice cream down John's. Guy had the door open, working on his truck. They came back from ice cream, back in the garage was on fire. And they told the family, like, your house is burning.
Yeah, it was white grass.
Yeah, they were, hey, you're, and they said they had to go in the house and turn the water's picking on, they're gonna try to put it out themselves, but, you know, when they should have immediately said, we need help, you know? So it was one of these situations of
All of
like,
that was already on fire when we got there.
already, like, all right.
All of it, including the porch, the attached, all of that was already on fire when we got there.
Well, and I know the house pretty well. So Lonnie built a big garage on the back of it and it went under the house. All the stuff was stored. So it was this add-on house. I thought, man, when that catches in the back, forget about it.
It was a huge fire load there.
Forget about it, yeah. So
Yeah, it was very unfortunate.
how many people did it displace, do you know?
3, as far as I know, we transported 1. Okay, it's just getting checked. Red Cross was out there, so Red Cross was working with them to,
Okay. Do you know if they have family in, do we know if they have
they do
family,
have family around.
family in the East Canton area?
Yep.
Oh, it's
Let's move on.
This ice
Oh, we have ESO Solutions. I don't know what that is.
That's
It's our
the,
reporting software. So Cleveland Clinic pays for the EMS side, we pay for the fire side of that reporting. It's an annual fee. And that's how we submit our reports to the state of Ohio, which is required for any grants or any of that.
the way I understand, don't they do some, like, that's where the staff can go online training or do something with their software or something?
No, that's how we do all of our reporting to the state.
But it's just all reporting? I thought there was something involved with that, or is that some other
That's all
software?
else.
Trustee Bureau was AESO Solutions, Inc., $1,413.88.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Cemetery.
They all just got mowed here on the 15th and 16th. And we're dragging that out for every 2 weeks. It's longer, but that's the first time he mowed since Memorial Day. So if anybody says anything, we're stretching it out now.
Yeah.
I know cemetery section here was working on some grave footers, repairing some for some people that asked for some footer replacement. He's handling that himself, and he had some other footers he was gonna go ahead and put in. Usually he said he wouldn't be doing that in the heat of the summer, and when I went up there, it was pretty hot.
They were working Saturday hard.
It was one of the hottest days there. This resident was concerned, and Brian wanted to solve the problem, so he actually literally took an old footer out, which was a pretty good size one, and then rebuilt, reformed up and is putting a brand new one in for him, setting the headstone.
Good deal.
The only other thing I wanted to let you know is, I know I discussed that levy, the date for a levy that I have to have it, if you ever consider, it has to be, it's the latest. And please don't take this like, oh, we got plenty of time. August 4th, I have to have it in there. So
Okay.
we're gonna have, next week's July 1st.
Yep.
So you got 3-4 weeks to make a decision, if we're gonna pursue that. 'Cause I need some time to work on it.
All right.
All right.
Road report.
Good evening, everybody. The trustees have looked over the road report. Any questions you'd like to ask?
What are you looking at on Old Sindel with the ditch?
What?
The last thing on here, look at the ditch on Old Sindel. Where's that at? On there.
Old Sindel, that's down by, Sam Crable by our Stephonics.
Okay.
Yeah, we were looking at the ditch there.
They didn't say they wouldn't do anything, they just let stop and looked at it.
Yeah.
It's a nice ditch you got there, sir.
Don't forget about the pothole up on Mott's. It should be drying out, but it's drying out now.
Is it drying out?
Yeah,
That's good. I'll go in there and hit it.
that's good, 'cause I've been hitting it
Every day. You probably made it, didn't you?
You probably made it.
Oh, shoot.
No, I would imagine, I don't know how the road mowers are, were they pretty, how far were they on, are they on the second pass now? Are they?
Oh, yeah, they've already started mowing on second pass.
Right, I assume that,
Yeah.
it's gonna slow down.
But they're not both out there mowing every day because Rodney's been gone on vacation last week here and today and tomorrow yet. And then, so Mike's been helping me. And Bernie's still mowing. We still got, a little bit more to do yet to get the roads ready for the chip and seal. But, they won't be here till August anyway, so we still got that whole month.
Today went out and cleaned up on, that property on 15th Street, cleaned out the end of the culvert.
Yes.
That's all taken. care
Oh,
of.
good. Spalding?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah.
Look good. Feel like a hard rain, it'll handle it.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And, once we got it cleaned out in front of the pipe and everything, there was very minimal dirt that was laying in the bottom of that old clay tile. It
The
was,
pipe was completely
It was just completely covered with the
Yeah, the
pipe.
whole end of the pipe was
Yeah, you
covered.
couldn't,
I mean,
you had to stick
Water
it
had no place to go.
had nowhere to go.
It had a hole where it.
No wonder it was like backing up in the pipe and then,
Yeah, up and out.
everything up at the top was
Guys
just turning down around over the yard and just saturating.
Well, next heavy rain, you probably see a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. She was worried about whether the clay tile was separating and coming apart or whether, and I said, if it was, you would see crevices in the yard, holes in the yard where it separates and starts caving in. And I said, it's not doing that. Randy was out there with us and looked at that, and it's not doing that. It looks fine. So
All right, we got power washer repairs.
we're still working on that.
The dollar amount I need approved for now, guys, is, let me get my notes. $410.91 is where we're at right now with 3 invoices.
What's the vendors?
It's Bruno.
Do you think you
Bruner
need
tool?
more?
It's up there right now. We went and changed the electrodes, the nipple, and the igniter. Now, the fuel is not working on it, fuel pump, whatever. So we loaded it up in the truck and took it up to Paul today.
Okay. So does this bill need paid, or are we gonna wait until the full final bill comes in?
That needs
No,
paid.
That needs paid?
Yeah,
Those are parts that I never thought to get it going. I don't think it ever had any parts put in it since. it's
Trustee
been there.
Bureau moves to pay Brader Tool and Repair $410.91 for repairs on the pressure washer.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye. Before we go to road bids, we have Staley Technologies in front of you.
Wait, can we go back to the pressure washer?
Oh, sure.
What's the cost to replace it?
$4 or $5 grand.
Oh, yeah. that is expensive.
It's the high
It's
heat.
a commercial size?
It's the high heat one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the,
Okay.
It should,
It just, it needed new electrodes, it needed some different parts put in it. I mean, the thing's been, if I'm right from the book that we had on it and stuff, it's from back in the 90s.
it could, the oil thing could be as simple. I mean, if it's got an air leak or something, but it might be a pump.
He told us how to try to check it, and we took the fuel line off right before the furnace part where the igniter is, and it's not pumping it.
We'll see up there.
Yeah, he's used to working on that stuff.
the Staley Technologies quote you have in front of you. I'm disappointed because this is all brand new equipment, and that's not what we asked for.
No,
Not what we asked for. And I talked to 2 different people. So it's $19,822.
yeah, we didn't ask for it. I thought he said that everything was working okay with the radio for the
This is
truck.
all brand new equipment. So I need to make a phone call
Yeah,
and see what the options are. When she said she sent me the invoice, I asked what the total was, and when she told me, I was like, whoa, that's all new equipment. And she said, well, yeah, and I'm like, well, that's not what we asked for. So we wanted to get our radios working
I
better.
mean, that's why he came out here
I know.
and checked the trucks and stuff and said that they were working okay.
I called this Edgar Van Hoos, the guy that wrote this. I called him and went straight to voicemail today once I got this. But I'll look into it. So for now, let's table it. I mean, we're not spending 20 grand.
Oh, heck,
So, all right, I'll keep asking.
it should only cost us at the most $5,000 to $6,000.
Replace a couple things. Keep the radio.
Yes,
So I'll
take the new cable.
I'm gonna call Brad. So, all right.
Road bid. All right, which one are we starting with?
Well, the office received 1 on our chip and seal, which was from 2020, and 2 on the road leveling. 1 was from Albatross and 1 was from North Star. That's what the office did, and that's what you have in front of you. I got the chip and seal should be first, and then Albatross is second that's the road leveling, that's a separate. It's the same as North Star, but that's the bid that went out for that.
Do we have a number yet, total, we can spend?
Depends. No, we have a total between 420 and 430,000 is your maximum.
Okay.
And I did some quick math. When I say quick, I'm leaving us a 25% cushion to save out of those 4 funds that I have, that I used to pay that out of. I'm leaving that so we have enough to operate the first 3 months of the year. And then I'm not touching the road main fund that pays payroll, all the workings of the fire department. That one there is healthy enough to take care of the payrolls, all the benefits and all those kind of things. I just didn't want to put that into the equation. So I used the 420 to 430. And that's even after we paid the village of East Canton. When in October, we'll owe them about 29 to 30,000. So I'm accounting for that. So your money, I say between 420 and 430 between those two projects.
That's good.
And if you add them up, Randy, if you add them up,
I got it.
did mine, it was,
There's enough.
Do you,
There's enough, yeah.
what do you got for, Wood Street, Osnaburg Street?
Nope, we ain't even messing with it. I don't have anything, there was nothing nailed down on that. So I never got stuff back from Scheckler again to do that other end.
What do you mean nothing's nailed down?
You want to know about Osberg Street?
Yeah, from the track stop past the last drive.
Well, we were waiting to get a quote on just trying to fix from the tracks back around to the main entrance. I thought people were saying that they did not want to put hardly any money into that road going up the other direction.
Do we have the quote just for that little section?
No, I never got anything back from Scheckler's.
Okay.
And that's to tear the thing up.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna tear it up and try to put the cement in there and do what you need to do and do it right,
Okay.
going in there and trying to put blacktop in all those deep grooves and washouts isn't gonna.
Well, if we do the leveling and we do the, chip and seal, full chip and seal, we got about 35,000 to work with.
what'd you figure?
I said if we did the leveling and we did the chip and seal, that leaves us about 35,000.
No, you're
I think we got
negative
about 10 or
30,000. You're negative 30,000.
We're gonna have to probably take off about 30-something.
If you had that 332,000 and 131,000, there's your, you're
I
up
was
to
gonna-
$468,000.
I was gonna take,
Yeah,
I was going to take off Weimer Drive,
Where's the price?
which Weimer Drive's around 32,264.
Off the chip and seal.
Yes. Because that's the very end road as I'm making my sweep up through, that it can go next year with Neen's, Duval.
Oh, yeah, one
Sam.
day.
You gotta look at that, make sure you go to the
I
bottom.
know I had more
I
time
don't
to
get
work
one
on it.
on it.
I had more time to work on it.
Yeah,
but
when you look at that real
I
quick,
don't
Randy,
understand.
yeah, you gotta look at the bottom. You can go down below.
I asked Stu, I said, I know the trustees talked about Osnaburg, but I said, you aren't gonna have enough money to do all the roads now.
Is,
They're gonna have to make a decision to, you know, what to take off.
quick question on the leveling. How in the world are these guys $300 different, right?
Isn't that something?
Ain't that something? I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
And all we gave them is the same knowledge.
I gave them the same
That's
exact
impressive
thing.
that that close.
Yeah.
Albatross,
Look, Cliff.
that
it says
Albatross,
minutes of traffic,
their company
58
called in
36.
to get some more information. They said, well, how thick are you gonna make this? I said, I really can't tell you because that's what your job is. And then he called Stu, I think, you know.
Yeah, he called me and talked to me.
So,
That's a very-
Oh, this one's even more.
Usually it's 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches.
Do we have experience with either of these
Yes.
Levelers.
North Star.
North Star we've used?
You did a great
So
job on all
on
the other
On
allotments.
the chip and seal, what did you say we could leave off?
If we, what Randy brought up there, actually it's in the negative. We need to take about 33,000 off. Am I correct,
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah.
Yes. 32, I think it was. So if we took off Weimer Drive, that's a 32,264.15.
Okay.
And then I can leave that for next year to start swinging the rest of the way down around and doing.
So if you had to take a road off, you want Weimer.
Yeah, because then we can put that back on, starting with that, Duval, Sam Crable, and jumping back up Neiman's, and then heading up north again.
It's 300. So that would get that bid to 300,207.40. So yeah, now you're at 431. If you got rid of Weimer, you're at 431 and change.
Yes.
Okay. You said we have between 420 and 430.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
it's, you can go 430, but as fiscal officer, I'd be nervous going past that just in case something else. We gotta have, I always like to, first, I'm always figuring a 25% so we can run January, February, and March. But if we go any more than that, let's say, God forbid, we have a breakdown, something, 10,000 here, 5,000 there out of the blue, I didn't want to cut us that short. So that gives us the money, and I'm not touching one of the road funds, the 2031 fund. We're not touching that one, but that can be used if we need it.
But Brian, they can go 10% over on these bids.
Yeah,
They can.
They come in under.
But that's why I got
They
to
don't,
figure,
but they could.
I got to figure.
He has that all figured.
Consistently, 2020, being they're the only bidders, they've come in anywhere from $22,000 up to $45,000 less.
Yeah.
Under
No, that's
every year that they awarded the bid. Now, the only change, trustees, and that Stu can elaborate on this, we did request the better
A polymer
for
the chip and seal.
because Stu noticed, and so, Randy and them guys had noticed there was some places that weren't holding as good, and they contributed that to that polymer. So he's good at getting us the good stuff or the better quality.
We'll see what happens with this. If I'm not satisfied with this, we might want to discuss next year trying to go to gray limestone. That's what a lot of the different townships are doing. Pike Township,
Brown Township.
Huh?
Where they have Brown Township. Like, once you go down lots and it switches, it's like a weird color.
That's great.
that's great,
Okay.
probably.
What's, these allotments are in bad shape now? Are the allotments in bad shape now?
I want to do them before they fall apart. Why? They're the only last two we have to level up, and then we can go a couple years and then try to go ahead and do the micro sealing over them, which will hold them up probably good for another 8 years, 8 to 10 years.
You gotta do something with that road at some Osnaburg, at some point. It's bad.
Yeah.
No, we're doing a lot less on the emulsion and everything. I mean, last year was 18 loads, the year before was almost 20 something. I'm only on 6 loads so far, and I've got most of the heaviest part done already.
Okay.
Have we thought about maybe just leveling one of the allotments, not both of them,
That's what I was.
and do another allotment next year?
If trustees, if you saw the way I wrote that bid up, if you see how there's 2 allotments there, I mean, it would be a bite to me to do that because we try to stay on track, but I asked them to bid that way. And you see, that's why there's a breakdown.
You break one off, they're gonna charge you. That price will probably go up.
They're gonna charge.
Charge you or to go and come in and do
No, they're
that
gonna
one.
charge what's on their breakdown. If you look at your bid, that's what they're gonna charge.
Could we get numbers back on Osnaburg from your guy that's giving you the bid and drop another chip and seal road if we had to? Rather than the allotments?
Leave the allotments.
Do the allotments, drop Weimer, so now we're at budget, and see where Osnaburg comes in.
Actually, aren't we still over budget by about 10, 11?
If you were going to do a patch job, a Band-Aid job, you can't spend more than 10 grand on Osborne.
We're trying for 420.
I mean, if you do that, take Weimer off and then do all your road leveling, all your chip and seal, because some of those numbers, if you had to really do Osborne good or a bigger section, I know Stu showed me some of those preliminary things. I thought, holy smokes, some of them are pretty high if they go in and grind them roads out. But if you don't do that, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. It's kind of like,
If you don't do all right, here's one thing. If you have him come in with that machine and tear the road up and not put the cement in, when they do the cement with it, that's expensive. That's when they go down a foot. When you only go down 4 or 5 inches, that ain't even gonna, I mean, you've seen how bad the road is. Have you
Yeah.
guys drove across it?
No,
You're not gonna get down through the bottom of some of those deep spots to even tear that up, to try to work it back and forth. And if you're not putting cement or anything back with that, I don't know how well
You
that.
were talking like 12,000 to 50,000.
Yes,
So the 12,000 might be all we can afford. You can't abandon it forever. You gotta do something about it. So what's next plan?
I only want to do the section,
yeah,
That is only doing that
I
section.
would only want to do,
If you do that full depth, you're about 50,000. It's,
Yeah.
we don't have that money. But if you can go through and do a sub depth without the cement, it's like 12, it was 10 to 12 at that time.
so we do have numbers.
So like I said, it's not, may not be what we want,
Mhm.
but it's something. We have to do something. Or put stone on it. It's, the back part, I'd say do nothing because we don't know that's
Yeah,
enough.
I agree. I think
The
that's
front's
way-
not
Right.
going away. We have to do something with it at some point.
that's bad.
well, and the semis need to stay off of that. They need to go.
you're not gonna stop them.
There's nothing we can do about
You
that.
cannot stop them, Brenda.
I'm just saying, we're not gonna fix the potholes on the upper
Oh,
end.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna learn how to
I would
drive
put a dollar into it.
I wouldn't put any money beyond where you turn out from business to 30 over the railroad track. That's all you spend time on.
Because that road's gonna change.
Only because it's completely destroyed, and we wouldn't even put money in if it was a decent road,
And it's gonna change.
because it's gonna get changed.
And
anyway.
see, I had him bid that first part from up away from the tracks.
Mhm.
It was like 10 or 12,000 without the cement.
Let me try to remember this. I thought when we had him give us that first bid was from the railroad tracks Clearwood Street. Then you'd come back and say, well, we don't want to put any money into this thing, it's gonna be done away with. So then we started to go from up past the second driveway, clear to 30. And that's what I was trying to get redone.
Well, the entranceway for the brickyard, that part there, that's not gonna ever go away.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
that
stay.
stays.
I understand that, and I know that, I get that.
None of these contractors in front of us are who would do this job in Osnaburg, right? Totally different group.
No, totally different.
Totally different.
They don't have the machine to do this.
Okay. All right. I say drop Weimer, do everything on this page, and hopefully these guys come in 20 grand under.
I don't think that 12,000 is right, Randy, to dig that up like that. It's gonna be a whole lot more than 12,000.
No.
No.
There was two different bids. One bid was no cement and only go 4, 5, 6 inches down. And then that's not giving you much. You try to,
What are they putting
they
back
try
in?
to shape the road back the way it needs to be, packing it in, and then you try to chip and seal or something over it. That ain't gonna hold much. It'll probably come apart in one winter.
Trustees, I found the email that Scheckler gave, I think Stu and Randy might be referring to. It says proposed grind and regrade. And when I click on that one, it's showing that it says grind road 3 to 5 inches deep and reshape with road grader.
That's the 12,000.
Compact material. That one came in at $7,377. Now, that's just
I think,
from Osnaburg or Wood over to.
the railroad track.
That's not on the other side of the railroad tracks.
No,
That's
that
just,
isn't on the other side.
This is the long section.
Then the other bid, what Randy and Stu were talking about, it says 150 ton of type 1 Portland spread rate. It's a lot more.
There's
That
cement and
one's
everything goes in that. They go down to foot.
$53,000.
well, the reason
How much
it's,
was it?
53,000.
Yeah, 53,000.
604. That was back on May.
is that the same stretch as the 50?
Yeah, the
yeah,
same
it's a
stretch.
whole, it's
I
a
mean,
whole.
we're talking like a good baseball can be thrown. I mean, it's not a big stretch. That's not a long stretch. From this side of the railroad tracks to where it ends, it's just up the hill. I mean, it's not how many
No,
feet was it?
No.
no, it's from Wood
No.
Street.
From Wood Street clear to the railroad track. That's a
Yeah.
long
Oh,
stretch.
that's
The
the
longest
50.
stretch.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
just
the-
asked if it was the same bid as the 7. That's a whole different
No.
thing.
No,
No.
No.
It's
It
a
is the same.
They are the same bid, but his bids are for the whole road
Oh,
right now.
okay.
They're the same,
The 7,000.
7,000 is only going down 3 to 4 or 5 inches,
But it's the whole road.
and no cement and no stone. It's just
Got it.
tearing it up and trying to reshape it and pack it back down. That's it. What he's gonna do for the 50-some thousand is going down a foot, regrading it.
Okay.
But when they do that, going down a foot, they're putting that cement and all that stuff in there and the stone and everything, and it really, it's like making a cement road a foot thick. It really,
But that was for the length of the whole thing.
that's from the railroad track to Wood Street. Same length as they're talking about for the
We
7,000.
don't want to go to Wood Street.
Yeah, we don't go with tree. So I'm saying, in my opinion,
But
it
you guys wanna fix it.
We want to fix from
the top of the hill down to the tracks.
down,
I would
well,
say
clear up to
5,
30.
I would say 5 feet past the west of the entrance that pulls out on Osnaburg from that business.
If you wanna do
To the
from up above those driveways or the cul-de-sac like we looked at.
Yeah.
Back down to 30,
That's what.
that ought to be tore up and done the right way,
So,
doing the cement
what
and
are we
everything, so it never breaks apart again.
so if 50 grand is the entire road,
No,
Just
50-some thousand was from the railroad track to Wood Street.
It wasn't the other side.
It was nothing to do, these two quotes right there have nothing to do from the railroad track right out on the 30. That little
I
short
got
stretch.
what I'm saying is railroad track to Wood Street, it's 50 grand.
Or,
54.
Great.
7,000.
All right.
Cheap.
Go ahead, what do you want?
It's going to be half or less. It's going to be half of 50 grand, right?
I'm telling you, if to try to go in there and do the little minor 3 to 4 inches, you ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, it's fine. What I'm saying is that railroad tracks to wood is 50 grand to do it right. It's the right way, right?
We don't have.
We don't have it, and we don't
No.
want to do it. So what I'm saying is, from the railroad tracks, just past the entrance of this business, you do it right, and you get a price, and we get it done. And we quit talking about it. This is kind of ridiculous. Like, I never saw that quote. So we're reading emails. I never saw that.
That was just something they worked up when they were talking back.
We started to work on it, but then things got changed, and now then they changed me around. Then I had to try to get him back out there to try to do another quote. But we were waiting on the railroad, which he was trying to get a hold of them, and I finally got a hold of them. Because I couldn't have Schreckler. He didn't want to come back out there and do another quote again, wasting time, he said, if he didn't know how close he could go to the railroad tracks and stuff.
Well, what the railroad say when you talk to them?
They said we could go probably within 5 feet and even work right over top of the railroad tracks, but they have to have flaggers out there and stuff, which they were willing to bring flaggers out there at their cost, which was like $1,500 a day.
So what's our priority here?
But they didn't say nothing about helping around the railroad track to fix that. We fixed it all the last time ourselves, and they never put a dime into it.
Is the priority leveling, or is it going to, from the driveways to 30, or to the railroad tracks, whatever?
The section from the tracks to 30 was chip and sealed at some point. It's not bad. You could put another coat on it. I say you do the minor level and then chip and seal it to 30.
Say what? Say that again?
Do the $7,000, which would be about 4 if you're gonna cut half that road off, and then chip and seal it from the top of the hill all the way to 30. I don't think you need to re-level from the tracks to 30.
No, you don't really need to tear that up. The worst part needs tore up is from the tracks up past where the cul-de-sac was.
Right.
That needs the cement and stuff put in it. Because it is so bad through there.
But I don't think you're gonna get it done for less. If you're gonna do the cement, you're probably looking at about 30,000. I don't think it's worth putting 30,000 in. I think it's worth
It was
doing.
50-some thousand to go the whole length from the railroad track up Wood Street.
But you said you wanted to do clear to 30.
Well, if you want to do it right, but there you just said we don't need to do it now. So
I did not say that. I said we have to do something with it. We don't have 50,000 to put into the road. So, but we can do the lesser one and come back and chip and seal across it. It's gonna be better than what it is. You gotta do something with it.
So at this point, We know that we, very least we could do is the cheap 4-inch one if we have to. So
Right.
let's go ahead and do these two bids here tonight. And then,
Taking off Warner possibly.
Yes, we should
Yes.
take Weimer off no matter what.
yeah, and
And
then,
then hopefully we'll have a bunch of money come off maybe from the leveling and
Right.
chip and seal. We usually have both come off. They
So let's
they
just
don't
move
usually go
forward
at the
with
full
that.
price.
and then in the meantime, once we kind of know where we are, we can say that, well, whichever way we decide to fix it, just from the cul-de-sac down either to the railroad tracks or the whole way to 30, whichever we decide to do. We can decide that later.
The only thing would be is this Sheckler chip and seal. So that's the only thing is you gotta have, it has to be added in.
Well, he can give a separate bid for that.
Okay, that's fine, I'm fine with that.
So I think we need to go ahead and approve these. Approve, the other bids are so close. I feel good going with someone we've used before.
I'll tell you what, you do the cheap way, 7,000, going down 3-4 inches. And
We're
think
not
you're gonna
deciding
chip and
that
seal
yet.
over, it, it'll fall apart more.
Yeah, we're not deciding that now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we remove Weimer off of the chip and seal bid that we received. And that was for $32,264.15. Let's take that road off, number 11.
Trustee Varian seconds that motion.
All those in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye. And I'll make a motion that we approve
Say 2020 on that one.
Yeah.
too, so we got it right.
2020. I'll make a motion, we approve 2020 for the full chip and seal bid as we've now announced it without the Weimer. What's that total?
It's 300,000 and change on that.
332,471.55 would be before taking Weimer out.
So I've got 300,207.40 cents.
Yep.
300,207.40 cents. 207.
So that's my motion to go with 2020 for that. 300,207.40 for the bid that they submitted,
Trustee
minus Weimer.
Varian seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye. We like North Star.
Yeah.
It's $260 difference.
Well, we've used them before, so we know what they do. So.
Yes, they did an excellent job for.
And we're keeping everything as it's on the sheet? Yep. All right, Trustee Varian moves to accept the bid for the 2024 pavement leveling with North Star Asphalt with the total cost of $131,400 even.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
In years past, what did you say they usually come in at under?
Yeah, like, for example, last year, Art's bid was 262,000. You guys did take something off. He came in on, I think, 219 or something. He was almost 40 grand less. On that was like 39,500 less. Now, what his explanation was is like when he goes out and measures and like widths and all and oils, he's figuring heavy because he's wanting to do it, but when he don't have to have it, he said the roads are in great shape because of whether it was Durapatch or it was built, it depends what kind of condition, they use less material.
Well, we could get in a situation where we could have enough
Yeah.
saving on it
To do that, right.
Possible.
That'd be
By
great.
taking one road.
But we gotta get ourselves in line, so if it happens, we can move.
So do we need to explain to 2020 that there may be a small section of road that will be added?
I will
or
call her
separate bid?
tomorrow and tell him that Weimer is being taken off.
And we may need him chip and seal part.
We gotta get Checkler out
Well,
here
you-
and get some accurate numbers.
I will, if you want me to, I'll call Sheckler back now and tell him, hey, come out and measure it from the railroad tracks up to where we said past the
Just let
cul-de-sac,
let
right?
me know when you're down there and I'll come down and meet you guys.
But I want understanding from you guys, is that what you're wanting
Yes.
now? Just up to where, like we said about the cul-de-sac?
Up
Yes.
past the last drive.
Yes, okay.
Let me know when you're gonna be there and I'll be on.
Okay, I'll get a hold of Aaron and see when he can come out.
All right,
Great.
And I will get ahold of you, Randy.
sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And tentatively, you're just getting you gotta have some kind of idea on the chip and seal from Art. Because
For that
Well,
won't you
yeah,
have to have some kind of idea?
I think,
Because if,
Yeah, we-
are you trying to, let's say Art comes up and he chip and seals. Okay, are we gonna know right then, hey, Art, did you save us some money so we can do it? You know what I mean?
yeah, right.
Or,
Do that little short section right there,
Yeah.
if those guys could get in and do it while he's still here.
yes. That's,
He'll roll up through here and do ours and a few more right here
in
close, and then
3
he's done
days,
heading
he's
back
done,
down
he's
towards
out here.
Columbus.
You know, that's what I was just,
Yeah, well, yeah, he's
It all
got,
depends on when Scheckler could come up here and do that short section.
well, we probably should call him right away then.
We gotta get some prices.
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
all right.
zoning.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Since last meeting had one ag exemption come in, I got a couple other things that I know are coming in shortly.
So Mary, I want to see if you can push them on Ravenna, because that's setting a precedent that we don't want to set. And the prosecutor has to give us an answer. What can we do?
So I did talk to the prosecutor. We can't put a lien or anything like that on the building or property. She mentioned trying to waive the fee and get them through that way. That's kind of the only option she gave us.
Well, I think you need to go back to her again and say, this is what's in our zoning. This is required by law. They're not abiding. What can I do?
We've only sent letters at this point. We've not talked. No one's communicated that, correct?
I've talked to the mother of the one on Ravenna.
Okay,
I've never heard from the son.
got it. The builder of the building.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the total they owe at this point?
The original fee was $175, which it still is, and then there is a violation fee on top of that. I gotta go back and double check.
But they're aware that they're aware that it's owed.
Mm.
Just an update on the nuisance side. I got a noise complaint call on Johns Avenue for the generator and operation running on DePietro property. Had the call before, have not heard for a little while, and the gentleman called me again tonight. I drove out there before the meeting, parked my car on John's, put my window down. It wasn't very loud, but I talked to Tammy, his wife, and she said that it's a low roar compared to what it was. I guess the noise is very, very loud when it's running. They said before the generator, but they're the only people that have called me personally on John so far. But there's definitely noise from that pump station real close there to those
I thought
houses.
they were supposed to get the electric back up.
They have it.
They haven't.
I didn't know. Do you know, was there power shut off to that on that fire? Did that AP come shut power off when the house was burning?
To that house, they pulled the meter.
Okay, but
Just
not to
that house,
not to
though.
the street.
No,
Okay.
just that house.
Then I wondered if they shut power off and that's when the generator was running. Power went off.
We just pulled the meter on that.
Then never mind.
I didn't people to that house.
Never mind. I thought that may have been why the generator was running. But
Was the
anyhow,
health department up there before on that?
Cool.
Where he's talking about?
oh, at the DePietro site?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, to see really what are they actually doing? Are they circulating something or? Maybe that's the question. Since they have electric, why is there still a generator running?
There were 3 semis there today when I was there. Pulled in 3 tankers. So they're
Sounds
either
like
hauling it
a-
out or they're hauling it in. One way or the other.
But they wouldn't be using a generator for any of that.
I don't know if it's the process. She said that the noise happens, which they thought was generated, the noise happens at different times of the day. So she said, I don't know if it's just when the truck shows up or if they're trying to like spread it out, not pay attention to themselves, but so.
Maybe ask them what's going on that they're still getting so much noise.
Today, the guy called me upset because he was showing a prospect house buyer his house, and they couldn't even talk back here. So he called me guns blazing. So probably wouldn't have been upset if he wasn't trying to sell his property with a nuisance noise behind him. But anyway, side note. So that's all I have for that.
All right, that's it. Zoning.
Question on zoning, did the lady that was here last time at the hearing, did she choose to join?
She chose to join the BZA.
Okay, so she did join. So you're gonna bring her letter to us and let's formally get her on there. Okay, great.
She'll need a new hire packet.
I got no old township business, so new township business, CETA agreement.
Yeah, this is the time of the year where I prepare the CETA according to when the annexing all happened. This year's total, if you want to jot this down, that I'll be asking, and I've invoiced out, I'm going to take a look at my bill I made, is $20,591.20. That's what it is. What I do is I mail them a copy and I email them.
You have to sign it?
No, I take that back. Yes, you as a president have to sign something. Flip through there. I think, or is it just all me? It might be me. I think this is all me. Because I sign it. It's just, I put a resolution number on it that you will approve what I prepare.
You guys don't see it?
There you go.
And is this money earmarked already for something?
That money is earmarked to be as our cushion money.
Okay,
But it isn't all, it's road money and general fund money. So it isn't all just road, because it's like,
isn't it that?
it's part of it has the zoning, like zoning over in the quarry area.
Yeah.
Any zoning, we get a piece of that money, and we also get, let me see, gas tax, permissive motor vehicle, and then
I thought we got something off the alcohol stuff.
we get alcohol and I'm just gotta read here, I gotta make sure. I never know what that is, I request it,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
that's
say, you're not
usually
gonna-
about $1,200-1,500, depending how much it is. It isn't a lot.
Same thing with building permits. You're not going to know how many they
Yeah, I
have.
don't know.
Yeah.
I request, and just so you know, trustees, this was wrote in 2006. The zoning side of it is only good for 20 years. So in 2026, we will no longer get zoning fees, a share of their zoning fees, according to the CETA agreement.
Okay.
We will get liquor, though. It looks like that's indefinitely.
Okay.
That was a no stop on that one.
Well, I think Ryan Holmes built so many houses in there, I don't know if there's any more lots left. I think they're all gone.
There are no lots left in the quarry.
I always ask for a resolution to approve release payment.
Trustee Pierre moves to accept the CETA agreement of $20,591.20.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Coal mining bond release.
Yeah, I got a letter, moving stuff around here. Got a letter, it's one of them ones, and Randy, you might be familiar with it, where after so many years, let me get that thing, let you guys look at it. I just got this.
I thought we'd already released this bond already.
We did one, this is the,
This is probably not on the road.
yeah, let me think where it is.
I think it's out there, I think.
Oh, it's stuck right back. I had it on top, so I haven't.
Yeah, I saw it there,
I
man.
probably folded it up in something. Too many papers. I know, I got it here. Here it is. Yeah, there's one. It's just to let you know that if you want to contest it or got questions or you got a limited time to do that or question it.
What's that bond for?
It's just for the reclamation of the ground. You can, resoiling and revegetation. It has nothing to do with the road. I do that.
I think it's the land.
It's the land that they
Land
mine.
itself. But we got the letter addressed to the trustees.
I'm gonna guess that, I don't think it matters, they're probably just notifying that it's
Yeah.
happening. It's all a time frame with the state.
I talked to one of the guys, and just, that was last year.
So do we need to do anything with that, Brian?
No,
No,
they're just letting us know.
Okay.
If you wanted to do something, that's when you do something,
All right.
but you don't have to.
We don't have to do anything, though. That sounds good.
There's nothing else.
What else did you have?
The only thing else I had written in for me is OPERS, that is our retirement. The month of April, and with all the things going on at the end of May, you always have to pay the premium. I was 4 days late paying it, and I got a penalty of $78.78. And because there's an employer share and a employee share, they've all been paid, everything's caught up. I still get dinged with a $78.78. It's like your interest fees and stuff. I asked them to be lenient on me because the first time I ever did it in 11 years. She said that normally they would, and she saw where I caught everything up. I even paid the one for May early just to get it in there, but I was hoping they would say, yeah, we'll waive it, but they didn't.
What do you typically pay a fee out of, general fund?
Yes, I would pay that fee directly out of the general fund. I would not pay it out of any of the other things, just to pay the penalty. Everyone's wages, everything that was done on the regular OPERS is paid out the correct fund, but this is a penalty. And I got to tell on myself, I was late, so I have to pay them. One, like the employer share was $45, and the employee side, they break that down into two fees, two charges. One was $31. The total was $78.78.
Griffith motions to pay the $78 and what,
78 cents.
78
cents out of the general fund to OPERS for the medical.
That's
Penalty.
OPERS.
OPERS,
It's our
okay.
retirement.
Trustee Varian, second.
All in favor, aye?
All right.
That all you got?
That's it.
Okay, trustee Puro motions to pay bills.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Trustee Puro moves to go into executive session at 9:02 for personal matters with no action to be taken after, and asking fire chief to stick around.
And with that,
Trustee
everybody's
Varian,
adjourned.
second.
Which one were you doing to a person?
Personnel, first one, number one.
I guess I didn't need it. I just said
Okay. It's good to have it if you needed it. I assume you talked to this morning. Was she there with you guys when you were working?
And her brother.
She's a nice lady.